Hi, my name is Aladdin. We're standing outside the shop windows of Magic Shop in Charing Cross Underground Station in London. It's August 2012. We're in the midst of the Cultural Olympiad and the whole Olympics and Paralympic spectacle. We're standing here because the two windows on my right are installed by the work of two Egyptian artists. The one immediately to my right is by the Egyptian artist Ibrahim Saad, and then further down on this side is by the artist Bassem Yusri. It's a project I initiated early last year when during the Venice Biennale it became apparent that the work of Arab and North African artists wasn't going to happen because their governments were in flux, so their national pavilions weren't going to happen. And one thing led to another, and I ended up supporting a project called The Changing Room, which we initially did in Italy. It has about a dozen artists at a heart. And for the Olympiad this year, we're part of the London 2012 festival, which is kind of the culmination of the Olympiad. Well, here we are at the hub, and we are surrounded by work of the artists from the Changing Room. And just to do a quick précis, this is work by artists who are in some sense from North Africa and the Middle East, especially regions which are really implicated by the uprisings and the changes and the transitions which are occurring there. So you're seeing work which has been collected together specifically for our project, and a lot of this work is actually made for the project, and you've seen some of the work also in Charing Cross Underground. And this work is made for this space which is on the first floor of Pall Mall, opposite some of the world's most exclusive private gentlemen's clubs. And the idea is that we are infiltrating into spaces that don't ordinarily receive uprisings. But we're also in a building and a floor which is to do with a place called The Hub, which is a very important location for, I guess, the new uprisings, to do those individuals who are trying to create a new economy, a new way of doing work, of not creating the artificial separation between their life and their work. And it's actually about something called the civic economy as well, which the Hub are pioneers in. So we're very pleased to have the relationship with the Hub as our host, because in a sense they are our fellow travelers in trying to create a better, stronger civil society. The artists of the Changing Room and indeed of the uprisings throughout North Africa and the Middle East, at their heart they're looking at being travelers but also guides and enablers to the changes and transitions. And I think this is a sympathetic space to put that work on. And it stands by contrast to the other space we're using in Charing Cross Underground, where it's not an exclusive space and where the public can just rush through as they would during the uprisings. So it's a project in two bits, and each of them is very resonant. And behind my head you have the videos and the paintings, and what you cannot see are some of the areas which are constructed over there and down here. Very magical Coca-Cola bottles, which I guess you have to come down to experience, and then to explore the very magical shelves, which they're quite enigmatic contents. You'll find some rotting fruit, which I hope will still be there when visitors arrive towards the end of September when we finish. And we look forward to receiving you. Right. Thank you. I was very interested in hearing what you were saying about the, in a way, the strangeness or the alienness of the Arabic writing here. And we had a little conversation about, I think you felt whether it was right or wrong to have that, or the different kind of reactions people had. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
It's very definitely right in the fact that it needs to challenge, because obviously media connotations currently are very negative towards a lot of Arab things, let alone Arabic writing. So thus, to see something in a very public domain, which is very Arabic, but is not in an Arabic setting, it's going to be challenging to people, but it's also a very good thing. You need to normalise that. It's a multicultural city. We should be embracing other people's cultures.
You were walking by and you suddenly stopped. What was it that made you stop? What were the kind of feelings? What was the first inkling you had which kind of made you stop to look at?
Just intrigued This space is usually occupied by sort of stuffed animals and magic tricks, and then suddenly there's something very Arabic there instead. And so, yeah, very intrigued by what was going on with it.
What do you think it does to the tunnel to have work like this here?
Adds interest to it. This is very bland. It's a public space, but it's a 1960s public space. It's utilitarian. There's no interest here. So yeah, it's just nice to have something on the way to work to make my brain tick over a bit.
And do you think London's kind of the best city to have something like this happen in a public space like this? Do you think it's the one which is least noticeable because it's London?
Yeah, and reactions in London are not going to be extreme, because Londoners are too cool for that. They like to think of themselves as very multicultural and very PC, and thus, whatever their reaction, they'll keep that to themselves. So you won't get a bad reaction, as it were.
Oh, that's really interesting. Thanks a lot, Simon. All right, thank you.
Hello, my name's Simon Grindrod. I pass by here every day to and from work. Just been really struck by another culture's art. See a lot of English art, a lot of contemporary art, which I never quite understand, but something with another culture's language in it particularly. Particularly something that's quite alien to the normal alphabet you see. It's just quite striking, so I'm very intrigued by it.